Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. club. I'm down here at Circular Quay, and believe it or not, it's raining. Summer in Sydney, and it's a cloudy morning with a slight wind coming through, but it's raining. It's just drizzling. And I came in on my motorbike, believe it or not. I rode in on my motorbike. I had a look at the weather conditions, and it had nothing, absolutely nothing about rain. It suggested that it was going to be cloudy, fair enough, but it said nothing about rain. And guess what? Halfway into my trip, just before I got onto the bridge, it just started drizzling. Anyway, I'm here. I've survived. It's all okay. But we'll kick off our morning. We'll go on a bit of a walk and talk, and we'll have a chat about a topic which I've got near and dear to my heart. And I think a lot of us will be able to resonate with today's topic. And today's topic is entitled The Seduction of Pessimism. The Seduction of Pessimism. And I guess the other way you could probably talk it is the intoxication of negativity. You name it. There's a number of ways we can look at it and see it. But pessimism and negativity is all around us. We're seduced by it. We're overwhelmed by it, surrounded by it. And each and every one of us have friends who are the eternal pessimist, the Debbie Downers, the ones who are always voicing negative opinion and negativity with such authority. They come across as authorities on what they talk about, but when you sit and analyse what they say, all it is just negativity to the nth degree. Oh, it is raining. Let me just get under cover. Just let me run over here just 1 second. I've got my new camera here. I don't want to damage it in the rain. Just bear with me. So the seduction of pessimism. What is it about pessimism? What is it about negativity that's so seductive and makes people want to blurt out their negativities all the time? Wherever we go, there are people who all have all these conspiracy theories, and they sound so convincing. Anybody who's positive, anybody who has something constructive to say is looked down upon. People peer down their nose as if to think that you're naive to have views which are positive, because I guess the flavour of 2020 is basically to try and be as negative as possible, because through that negativity people are seen as being smarter, better, and more in tune with the real world. But in actual fact, it's all a bit of a game that people play. And it's usually the media. The media are also experts at the seduction of pessimism, because people seem to be open to pessimism for some reason. I don't understand it. Open to negativity. There's something about it that attracts attention and is rampant in our modern lives. So don't know why, but for some people, pessimism just simply sounds smarter. If you talk in a positive fashion, people look at you funny, as if you're a bit of a naive person. Whereas if you talk with pessimism, if you talk with negativity, then people seem to think that this person here knows what they're talking about. They can see through the facade and they know what's happening behind the scenes. But nothing further from the truth could be. Because I don't know why, as I said before, that pessimism is intellectually captivating. And I guess when we look back, or we look deeper into the human psyche, we'll find that when you talk to somebody about danger, you will have their undivided attention for some reason. Because I think as humans, we're wired to have fears. We're wired to worry about our health, our future, and to be survivors. And in order to achieve that survival instinct, or to stay alive, stay kicking, then we need to have our focus on anything that could cause damage or injure us. And this is where certain people use this to gain leverage of the people around them. I know that growing up, parents and grandparents always used it as leverage. They used to talk about the bogeyman or babulas, and it would always capture our attention and break our pattern. So if we were in an unresourceful pattern, excited, doing things in an excitable sort of fashion, the mere thought of the bogeyman or the babula would quickly snap you out of your bad mood or whatever mood you were in, and you'd be focused very, very clearly on what your parent or grandparent was talking about. So there is some sort of power, there is some significant power, in fact, in being a pessimist, in being negative, because people pay a lot of attention to that negativity. And as I said before, we've all got mates, we've all got friends who are pessimists, who are negative, and the reason why they're like that is that they've cottoned on. They've realised that there is a power, there is a big power in being negative and being a pessimist, because as we said before, there's a magnetism, there's some sort of hypnotic aspect to be able to call out things that in a negative fashion, because people will pay attention to you. People will look at you as if you may know what you're talking about. It's funny, isn't it? But if you're negative, if you're a pessimist, and you come across and talk with authority, then all of a sudden you'll have some power over the people around you who are less able to see through the bullshit, and will take you for face value and think that because you're talking with authority that you know what you're talking about. But everybody knows that it's all a bit of a facade, and a lot of the people that we have around us who talk negative, who talk disaster, the doomsdayers, come across as being or appearing to be smarter, and in many ways a lot of them think that they're smarter than everybody else. I learnt very, very many years ago that a lot of people, especially the ones who are charming, think that they are much smarter than everybody else around them. But there comes a time where their magic, their charisma wears out as people just get sick of listening to the same old negativity, the same old Chicken Little story that the world is collapsing, the sky is falling in, the economy is going to go into recession, house prices are going to tumble away, the share market is going to crash, and blah, 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 blah. It just never ends, the negativity. And I guess that the problem that pessimists have is that they don't understand human behaviour. They don't understand how things work. Because what they do is they look at an existing trend and they think that the past equals the future. They draw a straight line, they extrapolate an existing trend without ever accounting for how markets adapt and people change to bring equilibrium. One of the great lessons that I learnt in chemistry is that regardless of what happens, there is always a steady state, and things will always come back to where they were before the reaction or whatever stimulus has happened. So even in our lives, you know, we have a disaster, a death, a problem, a challenge, but we adapt to each of those challenges. We adapt to each of those things that happen, and we change. And the reason why we change is we change in order to solve the problem, to counter what is happening, in order to bring back balance, to bring back equilibrium. A very, very powerful scientific concept, and something that works in human behaviour as well. So whenever you're surrounded by people who are pessimists, who are negative, who are talking about the world coming to an end, or that things will be worse, and all of those things that go with it, always remember that they have a very simplistic view of the world, a very, very immature and childish view of the world, where they extrapolate existing trends and project those trends into the future, thinking that nothing is going to change to adapt to whatever is happening. We've seen with COVID-19, we've had the challenges, but we've adapted. And here in Australia, we're pretty much back to normal in terms of our modus operandi. And it's important to understand that humanity is endlessly innovative. People always respond to adversity and to problems with a new and novel solution. We will never be conquered. One of the greatest things about the human spirit is that regardless of what happens, regardless of what you throw at us, we will find a way. We will find a way to get through it, get over it, and not only survive it, but to thrive it. But the negative people, the pessimists, the eternal pessimist, can't see that, can't understand that. I think because in many ways they've given up on life themselves. They've submitted to the way things are, and given up, as I said, their response. Then they think that everybody else is the same way. But there is a way, there is a solution. Human beings are teleological in nature. Give us a problem, give us a challenge, and we'll find a way of getting around it. We'll find a way of solving it, and we'll find a way of being bigger, better, smarter, quicker than ever before. There we are. So the pessimist. Remember the pessimist. Remember the person who thinks they're the smartest person in the room because they're able to talk things down and live and be the purveyors of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Their view of the world is very immature because nobody can understand the complexity of the world. The world is very complex. Economics is very complex. Human behaviour is extremely complex. Nobody knows how things and people are going to respond regardless of what's happening. So all these bullshit conspiracy theories about having a few people sitting in a room and controlling the world don't understand that controlling anything, controlling anybody is all but impossible. Just look at yourself. You can't even control yourself. I can't even control what I'm going to eat today. Even though I say I'm going to do this, that, and the other, I can't control it because I'm tempted. There are temptations along the way, and each of us, each human spirit is different in terms of how it responds and how it deals with the challenges of every day. So I guess at the end of the day, we need to believe that we live in a predictable, controllable world. So we turn to authoritatively sounding people who promise to satisfy that need. The world is not predictable. It's not controllable. It's complex. Now, we're all simple people, but with complex, extremely complex behaviours. And I remember learning this in economics in year 11 at school, that you can't predict human behaviour. Economists, they can talk about all the different things which impact the economy, but one thing that they can't do is predict how you and I are going to behave under different pressures, under different situations. And the other thing, the last thing I want to talk about today, and this is where the pessimists, the people who are the smartest people in the room, or think they are, when forecasting the future, they always focus on what they know, but are completely blind and ignorant to what they don't know, and which brings overconfidence. They think that because they know a snippet of information, then they can project that into the future and predict what's going to happen. But we know time and time again, they know jack shit. All they can do is just create an environment of fear, and that environment of fear is probably designed to get people to be dependent on them, just so that they can have people clinging to them, to maintain their friendships, to have a magnetic and charismatic power over people, but there's no substance to it. So stand up and be counted if you're an optimist, because pessimism, negativity will never survive over pessimism. And the reason for that is that given time, each pessimist is found out, is shown to be, just like in The Wizard of Oz, the wizard behind the curtain, just a voice of authority which has no authority, a voice of intellect which has no intellect, a voice that predicts absolutely nothing, because, as we said, each and every one of us have differing interests, and each and every one of us has a strong spiritual will that can't be understood, can't be measured, and can't be overwhelmed, regardless of how hard people try, with the tricks, with the stern sounding voice, and with all the games that they play to try and prove their cleverness. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and most importantly, let's not give in to the pessimists. The future is bright, will always be bright, because as humans, we are capable of adapting to whatever challenge is thrown our way, and not only survive those challenges, but also to thrive, to grow, develop, and to master each and every challenge that gets thrown our way. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your Saturday. Hopefully this rain was only temporary and will blow away, and we'll have a great weekend. Yassas from Jim's 5am Club, and we'll chat again. Bye for now.